In the heart of Middle-earth, where ancient forests whispered secrets and mountains stood as silent sentinels, a fellowship was forged. 9 companions, bound by a singular purpose, set out from Rivendell to destroy the One Ring, a malevolent artifact of unimaginable power. Frodo Baggins, a hobbit of unassuming stature, bore the ring, its weight a constant reminder of the peril that shadowed their path. Beside him walked Samwise Gamgee, his loyal friend, Gandalf the Grey, the wise wizard, Aragorn, the heir of Isildur, Legolas, the elven archer, Gimli, the stout-hearted dwarf, Boromir, the valiant man of Gondor, and the hobbits Merry and Pippin, whose courage belied their small size. Together, they were the Fellowship of the Ring, a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness of Sauron. Yet, even as they embarked on their quest, the ring's insidious influence began to weave its discord. It was no mere trinket, it was a fragment of Sauron's soul, imbued with his malice and will to dominate. Frodo felt its pull most keenly, a whispering voice that gnawed at his resolve, tempting him with visions of power and safety. The others, too, were not immune. Boromir, driven by the desperate need to save his beleaguered city of Minas Tirith, saw in the ring a weapon to turn the tide against Mordor's armies. Aragorn, though steadfast, grappled with the legacy of his ancestor Isildur, who had failed to destroy the ring centuries before. Even Gandalf, wise and powerful, feared the ring's ability to corrupt his noble intentions. The Fellowship's journey was fraught with peril. From the snows of Caradhras to the depths of Moria, they faced trials that tested their unity. In Moria, Gandalf's fall to the Balrog was a devastating blow, stripping them of their guide and protector. The loss shook the group, exposing their vulnerabilities and foreshadowing the fractures to come. As they emerged into the golden woods of Lothlorien, the Lady Galadriel offered solace and insight, yet her mirror revealed truths that stirred unease. Boromir's heart grew heavier, his desire for the ring intensifying, while Frodo glimpsed the impossible burden of his task. The ring was not merely a physical object but a catalyst for division. Its power amplified doubts, fears, and desires, sowing seeds of mistrust among the companions. The Fellowship, though bound by oath, was composed of individuals with differing loyalties, cultures, and motivations. Elves and dwarfs carried centuries of enmity, men bore the weight of mortal ambition, hobbits, though pure of heart, were not immune to despair. The ring exploited these differences, and its presence ensured that no unity, however noble, could remain unbroken. As the Fellowship journeyed down the great river Anduin, the strain of their mission became palpable. The river's steady current carried them toward a decision point, both literal and metaphorical, whether to turn east to Mordor or west to Minas Tirith. Boromir's arguments grew more insistent, his voice tinged with urgency. He spoke of Gondor's need, of the ring as a tool to save his people. His words, though born of desperation, clashed with the Fellowship's purpose to destroy the ring, not wield it. Aragorn, now leading in Gandalf's absence, countered with measured resolve, but the tension between the two men simmered. Frodo, caught in the midst of this discord, felt the ring's weight more acutely. Its whispers grew louder, urging him to distrust his companions. Sam, ever watchful, noticed Frodo's growing isolation, but even his steadfast presence could not fully shield his friend from the ring's influence. Merry and Pippin, though less affected, sensed the shifting dynamics, their light-hearted banter giving way to uneasy silence. Legolas and Gimli, bound by newfound friendship, remained vigilant, yet their focus on external threats could not mend the internal rifts. The Fellowship's camp at Poth Galen, near the Falls of Rauros, became the crucible where these tensions boiled over. Boromir, driven to the edge by his inner turmoil, confronted Frodo alone in the woods of Amorn Hen. His plea for the ring turned to demands, then to a momentary lapse into madness as he tried to seize it. Frodo, horrified, used the ring to escape, vanishing before Boromir's eyes. The incident was a stark revelation. The ring's power could corrupt even the noblest heart, and no one was beyond its reach. Boromir's actions were not those of a villain but of a man broken by duty and desperation. His immediate remorse, weeping as he realized his betrayal, underscored the tragedy of his fall. Yet the damage was done. Frodo, shaken and fearful, understood a painful truth. The ring's influence would only grow stronger, endangering anyone who remained near it. The Fellowship, already strained by loss and discord, could not withstand the ring's relentless pressure. To protect his friends and their mission, Frodo resolved to continue alone. The breaking of the fellowship was not a failure but a necessity, a painful but inevitable step in the quest to destroy the ring. Frodo's decision to leave was born of clarity, forged in the crucible of Boromir's betrayal. He saw that the ring's power would continue to erode the group's unity, turning friend against friend. By departing with only Sam, who refused to let him go alone, Frodo minimized the ring's ability to sow discord. The smaller, simpler companionship of two hobbits unburdened by the ambitions of men, elves, or dwarfs offered the best chance to reach Mordor undetected. The fracture also allowed the Fellowship's members to fulfill their destinies in ways that a united group could not. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, choosing to pursue the orcs who captured Merry and Pippin, embarked on a path that would lead them to Rohan and Gondor. Their actions rallied the forces of good, from the defense of Helm's Deep to the lighting of the beacons, ultimately paving the way for the final stand against Sauron. Merry and Pippin, through their captivity and escape, found themselves in Fangorn Forest, where they roused the Ents to march against Isengard. Each member's journey, though divergent, was essential to the broader war against Sauron. The breaking also served a deeper, symbolic purpose. The Fellowship represented the unity of Middle-earth's peoples, a fragile alliance against a common enemy. Yet, the ring's power exposed the reality that unity alone was not enough. True victory required sacrifice, individual resolve, and the courage to face one's path alone. Frodo's solitary journey to Mordor, paralleled by Aragorn's rise as a king, reflected the necessity of personal responsibility in the face of overwhelming evil. The Fellowship's dissolution was not its end but its transformation, scattering its members like seeds to bear fruit across Middle-earth. Frodo and Sam's journey into the wilds was a descent into hardship, yet it was also a testament to their resilience. Sam's unwavering loyalty became Frodo's anchor, countering the ring's corrosive influence. Their path through the Emyn Muil, the Dead Marshes, and eventually to Gollum's treacherous guidance, was one of isolation but also focus. Without the distractions of a larger group, Frodo could confront the ring's burden directly, even as it wore him down. Sam's presence ensured that Frodo did not face this trial entirely alone, embodying the quiet strength of friendship. Meanwhile, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli's pursuit of the captured hobbits led them to encounters that shaped the fate of nations. In Rohan, they aided King Theoden, breaking Saruman's hold and rallying the Rohirrim. Their alliance with Ymir and the eventual victory at Helm's Deep were turning points in the war, galvanizing the free peoples. Merry and Pippin's role in awakening the Ents led to the fall of Isengard, crippling Saruman's power. Boromir's death, defending the hobbits, was a redemptive act, his sacrifice inspiring his brother Faramir and strengthening Gondor's resolve. Each thread of the scattered fellowship wove into the larger tapestry of resistance against Sauron. The breaking allowed for flexibility, adaptability, and the emergence of unexpected allies, Treebeard, Eowyn, Faramir, who would not have been encountered by a united group. It also forced each member to grow, to confront their fears and limitations. Aragorn embraced his kingship, Legolas and Gimli deepened their bond, and the hobbits discovered courage they never knew they possessed. The Fellowship's fracture was the catalyst for these transformations, enabling Middle-earth to stand against Sauron's might. At its core, the breaking of the Fellowship was a consequence of the ring's true power, its ability to isolate and corrupt. The ring thrived on division, turning allies into adversaries and hope into despair. Its influence was not merely magical but psychological, exploiting the weaknesses of even the strongest souls. Boromir's fall was a warning, a glimpse of what could befall any who lingered too long in its presence. Frodo's decision to leave was an act of defiance against this power, a refusal to let the ring destroy the bonds he cherished. Yet, the ring's influence persisted, even in Frodo's solitude. His journey with Sam and Gollum was a microcosm of the Fellowship's struggles, with Gollum embodying the ring's ultimate corruption. The creature's dual nature, pitiful yet treacherous, mirrored the ring's ability to twist good into evil. Frodo's pity for Gollum, though noble, was fraught with danger, and their uneasy alliance underscored the impossibility of escaping the ring's shadow entirely. Sam's vigilance, however, provided a counterbalance, his plain hobbit sense grounding Frodo when the ring's whispers grew too loud. The Fellowship's breaking was thus a strategic retreat, a way to limit the ring's ability to corrupt en masse. By dispersing, the companions diluted its influence, allowing each to fight their battles on their own terms. This dispersion also ensured that Sauron's attention was divided, his eye drawn to multiple fronts rather than a single, vulnerable group. The ring's power to isolate was turned against it, as the scattered Fellowship became a network of resistance, each member contributing to Sauron's downfall. In the end, the breaking of the Fellowship was not its dissolution but its evolution. The bonds forged in Rivendell endured, not in physical proximity but in shared purpose. Frodo and Sam's success in destroying the ring was made possible by the sacrifices and victories of their companions. Aragorn's coronation, the Ents' march, the Rohirrim's charge all were ripples from the Fellowship's fracture, converging to topple Sauron's dominion. Even Boromir, in his failure and redemption, played a vital role, his story a cautionary tale and a call to resilience. The Fellowship's legacy was one of hope tempered by sacrifice. It showed that unity, though powerful, must sometimes give way to individual courage. The breaking was an acknowledgement of human, and hobbit, frailty, but also of the strength to rise above it. Frodo's journey, though solitary, was never truly alone. The love and loyalty of his friends carried him to Mount Doom. The Fellowship's members, scattered across Middle-earth, remained bound by their shared oath, their actions echoing the vow to protect the ring-bearer. The story of the Fellowship is a reminder that even the strongest alliances may fracture under pressure, but those fractures can lead to unexpected victories. The breaking was not a defeat but a rebirth, a necessary step to ensure that light could prevail over darkness. In Middle-earth, as in our own world, the greatest triumphs often come not from unbroken unity, but from the courage to forge ahead, even when the path diverges. The breaking of the Fellowship was, at its heart, an act of sacrifice. Frodo sacrificed the comfort of companionship for the sake of his mission. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli sacrificed their direct protection of Frodo to pursue a broader war. Merry and Pippin sacrificed their safety, enduring captivity to spark unforeseen alliances. Boromir sacrificed his life, redeeming his moment of weakness with a final stand. Each sacrifice was a thread in the tapestry of victory, woven through pain and loss. This sacrifice was not without cost. Frodo, though he succeeded, was forever changed, his spirit scarred by the ring's burden. Sam, steadfast to the end, carried the weight of watching his friend suffer. Aragorn bore the burden of leadership, knowing that every decision could mean life or death for thousands. The hobbits, once carefree, returned to the Shire with shadows in their eyes. Yet, these costs were the price of freedom, a testament to the Fellowship's willingness to give all for the greater good. The breaking of the Fellowship teaches us that sometimes, to achieve the impossible, we must let go of what we hold dear. It is a story of love, loyalty, and the courage to face the unknown, even when it means walking alone. The Fellowship's fracture was its strength, a paradox that ensured the ring's destruction and the salvation of Middle-earth. The breaking of the Fellowship had to happen because the ring's power demanded it. Its ability to corrupt and divide made a united group unsustainable, threatening to unravel the very bonds that held the companions together. Frodo's decision to leave, though heartbreaking, was an act of wisdom, preserving the mission and protecting his friends. The fracture allowed each member to fulfill their role in the war against Sauron, their divergent paths converging toward a singular victory. The story of the Fellowship is one of resilience in the face of division. It reminds us that even when unity falters, purpose can endure. The breaking was not the end but a new beginning, a scattering of light that illuminated Middle-earth's darkest corners. Through sacrifice, courage, and unwavering hope, the Fellowship proved that even a broken circle can still encompass the world. In the end, the breaking of the Fellowship was not a tragedy but a triumph, a necessary step in the journey to destroy the One Ring. It was a testament to the strength of those who, though parted, remained bound by a shared dream of a world free from shadow. And in that dream, they found the power to change the fate of Middle-earth forever.